Hey guys, how's everybody doing? It's Colleen with Chalk Couture, and we are coming in with a project tonight that is a project that or a transfer I should say rather, that I have used before, but I just saw it in a new light, so I wanted to come in and do another project with this farmhouse transfer. So we're just going to go ahead and get the iPad going, and then we will get started. Let's see. Okay, we are shared. So if you are joining live, hello. If you are watching on the replay, I thank you so much. And either way, if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that share button, it's at the bottom left hand of your mobile device. That helps us to get the Chalk Couture love out there. And I always appreciate that. You know I do. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So we're going to keep it very simple tonight. We are going to use the Farmhouse transfer. This is our amazing Sylvie board. It is, again, as I mentioned, these are new products in our autumn-winter 2019 catalog. And I actually cannot take credit for this. This was a design that I saw on another designer's page, and I loved it. And as designers with Chalk Couture, we're always so helpful to each other and sharing ideas and things like that. That really, oh, I just got some chalk paste on here, get off of there. That designers are so super friendly sharing things like that. So I'm going to come in and just kind of borrow her design. So I'm just getting my chalk paste, and if I wouldn't keep drying little dried bits of chalk paste everywhere. So this is a little stiff. You can see I'm actually going to use my multi-tool today just to stir this up. This is our amazing eucalyptus. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I'm going to add a pretty good amount because it's pretty dry. But once we add in water and we stir, I don't want to stir too vigorously over my project because then I'm going to get little drops of paste everywhere because I'm sloppy. But once you start stirring it pretty vigorously, you can see that it starts coming back to life. You want it to be that nice yogurt-like consistency. So I'm using my multi-tool to get all the way around this circular jar, to get all that chalk paste around from all inside there, and stir this up real good. And sometimes this will happen, so I'm glad it is happening when we're live. It does get just pretty stiff. So you just need to keep adding water until you get it to that nice yogurt-like consistency. And sometimes it takes a little longer than other times. Sometimes it takes a little more water than other times. But if you stick with it and give it a good vigorous stir, you are eventually going to get it to that nice yogurt-like consistency. So again, I'm adding a little more, just fine. Oh, see, that's what I was trying not to do, and I just got it on my board. Sometimes I stir a little too vigorously, and I make a mess. That is perfect. See how we brought it back to life? You saw how it looked like, oh my gosh, when I opened it, like, it's stiff. It's not, it's okay. That happens. So I just want to clean up the little mess I made here from stirring a little too vigorously. Let's get that cleaned up. So we have our eucalyptus, which is one of my favorites. It's still, oh, I love that color. Still one of my favorites. And then I'm going to just do the same with my white, which was in, better shape because we just used this not too long ago. But again, here I am with dropping little pieces all over. So we're just going to get the white to that yogurt-like consistency as well. I'm going to keep this to two simple colors, the white and the eucalyptus. I may have just lied. I may throw in another color because I'm absolutely obsessed with the little bird from this transfer, so I may do him too. We're going to see how it goes. So what we always do with our brand new transfers is we write what they are on the back so that we know when we're returning it to its carrier sheet that we can return it to the proper side, which is not the paper side, which is what we've labeled. We want to return it to the side that is the shiny side. So you can see how it's shiny. That's where our transfer is going to return to. We also like to fuzz our transfers when we are using them on chalkboards, glass, or mirrors. We want to make sure that we've given them a good fuzzing prior to using on those surfaces. If I could get it off of the board, that'd be great. That way that the transfer that is sticky is not going to stick quite so hard to your surface. So let's get all of these transfers onto our fuzzing cloth. It is a-okay if you don't have a fuzzing cloth. Use your your little leggings, use your shirt, use a kitchen towel, whatever you have handy is fine. So I like to just put it down and pick it up 3 times just because I feel like 3 is the lucky number with getting it nice and fuzzed. So we'll do that with all of these little pieces here. There we go. And then we're going to lay it down, and I'm going to do it a little bit differently than I've done if you've seen a prior project that I did using this transfer. I used it on our, it's actually hanging in my kitchen, so I can't even grab it for you real quick. That's how much I loved it. I did it on our Odette board, which is the black framed white chalkboard. It's beautiful. Not chalkboard, it's wood. No, actually it's not. What is it? You know, I just stumped myself. What the heck are you, Odette? Are you wood or are you a chalkboard? Now I have to look because I don't want to give wrong information. So let me check real quick before I go any further and I fill your heads with the wrong info. Okay, so here's the Odette. So it was on this one. So it is decorative corners and white surface. Give the Odette frame a fresh look. Your paste designs will pop on these washable boards. There we go. So I didn't want to give misinformation and say that it was wood one time. Okay, so we're good. It is a board. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight, I'm going to just do farm. So I'm going to take the farm part of it. And then we're going to come down here. Oh, whoop, that's got a bubble. We're going to come down here on the bottom, and I'm not going to chalk the H. We're going to put the H down here, so it's in farmhouse. And then for the O, it's going to be our pretty wreath in eucalyptus. So I'm going to leave these. These are on my leg right here, off to the side here while we chalk this. So I just want to hold this up and make sure I'm kind of straight. I feel like I'm pretty good, so I think we're going to go for it. Now, give me one hot second because I realized I hit the live button so fast that I forgot to put water in my bucket. So hold on. Okay, we are back. Sorry about that. I always usually have everything prepared and ready to go, and I just completely forgot to get water in my bucket, which is really important. I always like to have everything ready to go so that it makes cleaning a snap. Alrighty, let's grab our squeegee, and again, we're just going to cover the silk screen of the letters for farm, and I'm going to take the H and I'm going to put it down on the bottom, on the next line, not the bottom line. I'm just going to move my stirry stick. I'm going to put enough on here. And if I don't have enough, I can always come back and get more. But before I do that, I just want to make sure I don't have any bubbles. I forgot to check. I like to hold it at an angle because you can really see the bubbles when you hold it at an angle. I feel like we're okay. Hopefully we are, but if not, I can wash and redo if I have any boo-boos. So you see how easy it is to just put the chalk paste right over these letters. Just watching to make sure I don't hit the H, but if I do, I can wash it off because it is chalk paste. It will come off with water. So if I hit any of that on this top line, it's okay. Now, when I come back again and I apply a little pressure, see how it made a nice thin line on there? That's what we want. A nice thin layer. And I want all that excess to go back into my jar. Alrighty, and then once we have it, where everything's covered, you've got all the very tippy top of your letters covered, or your design, then we can go ahead and remove. Now we want to remove left to right or top to bottom, never diagonally. So I have a nice little tab here. I'm just going to grab and yank it like a band-aid, but not too hard. Yeah, easy peasy that was. So simple. I'm just going to stick this down here for a hot second. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed, whoops, don't you fall. I'm going to speed the drying process along. Let's just get this so that it's not flipped. Now you can use a hair dryer or a heat tool. I like to do this just when we're live. It helps speed up the process a little bit. If you want to leave it to dry on its own, that's a-okay to do. It'll take about 4 minutes to dry on its own. We are just speeding it up for the process of being live. So, everything is dry. I can rub my hands all over that, not going anywhere, right? So now we're going to come back in, and I'm going to match up the H down here as best I can. I'm going to give it a little space because if you remember, we want to just make sure, nope, I'm too close. Give it just a little more space. There we go. I think we're good there. Oh, now I'm crooked. And you know what we have for this job is placement tape, and I never use it, and I really should be using it because it helps us to line up our letters. Okay, I feel like that's better. So I'm just trying to make sure my transfer doesn't stick to itself over here, because you'll remember that we wanted to put our wreath in here for the O, like that. But I need to chalk the H first and then pull that, dry it, and put the wreath down to do our O with the wreath, okay? And I love this because you can change out the colors. So if I wanted to, I could make this orange for Halloween. I could make it a nice fall color, like an aubergine, for Thanksgiving. And then I can change it to a red wreath for Christmas. I love that. That's so cute. Okay, I just want to hold this up because I feel like I can see better when I hold the board up, and that is definitely crooked. So I'm glad I took a second to do that. Okay, let's see if that looks better. I feel like that looks a lot better. And then remember, like I said, we want to make sure that we're leaving enough room. So I'm trying to see how this is going to pan out here. So it is going to come, it's going to come a little further over, but that's okay. And I kind of left room for myself to put things down here if I wanted to, if I want to add some pretty ribbon. I did kind of intentionally put it up a little bit towards the top. Okay, so let's continue. I'm just making sure my H is down and that I have no bubbles. I'm lifting it to check for bubbles again. And now we can continue right on and just get enough on our squeegee, just a little, just to cover the H for right now. And then once I'm done with this piece, then I can throw it into my bucket of water, and then the water will actually start to get the chalk paste out of the silk screen area for me. It's going to start cleaning itself. I love that. So I'm actually going to hold the squeegee because I still have more white to go. So there's our H. Okay, now I can put this transfer into the pan of water as I mentioned. Let that start doing its job of cleaning. I love that. And then we can dry our H and move right along. Now, since I've had my eucalyptus open over here for just a few minutes, I just want to check it again to make sure we are good. It's still good. I usually like to keep my jars closed until I use them, but because this I thought was going to be a pretty quick project, I just left them both open over there. So let's get our pretty wreath. Let me make sure that is good. It feels good. You want to make sure that the board is not hot after you dry it. And the reason is because if I were to put my transfer down here and go to chalk on there, and if the board is hot, then it's going to help that chalk dry even faster than I want it to. So I'm just feeling to make sure the board feels good. So we're going to just continue right on. And I kind of want to check this too, because I want to make sure my spacing feels good, because I know that the words are a little crowded. So not crowded, but they're a little close. So I want to make sure that I'm giving myself, you know, proper spacing here in between my H. I feel like I'm just a tad too close. So let's just scoot it just a little bit more. And then I think we should be okay. And I'm actually going to use, whoop, I just dropped it. I'm going to use my carrier sheet to kind of help guide me so I can see. All right, I don't see the wreath there, and I just see a tip of it there. So I feel like it's right where I need it to be. So I just use whatever tools I have handy, and this happens to be handy, so that's what we'll use to measure. Okay, I think we're good to go. I feel like it's in a good spot. We're going to dive in and just do our eucalyptus wreath. Again, this is such a gorgeous color, and it looks so good on a chalkboard. That was all there was to it. How quick to do that wreath, right? So quick and easy. I'm just going over it a couple times to get any excess. Look at all that excess I have. It barely took any. So that's going to go back into my jar. Now I can peel from the top down. I told you guys. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh, I love eucalyptus. I hope they never, ever, 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 ever get rid of this color. Never, ever. It's so pretty. Dry, and that's a little warm, so while we're waiting for that to come back down to room temperature, I'm going to just get all of this chalk paste off of my multi-tool, and boy, I am a messy stirrer. So let's get that off, and then this tool can also go right into my pan of water. Just trying to clean my lid a little, the tip of my paste a little. So that tool can also go into our pan of water, as well as our little stirry sticks and our squeegees. They can all go into the water as well and be cleaned. Okay, so now we are done with eucalyptus. We can close up that jar of chalk paste, leave it right there, and it's back to room temperature, so we are good to go. So let's bring in the rest of the word house. So I'm just kind of eyeballing. I can see the wreath. See the wreath just kind of peeking through the silk screen, so I can kind of judge where it is. And then I'm going to be real scientific again here and use my... That's too far down. I need to come up just a tad, just a little scotch, just a little further up, and then I feel like we'll be in a better spot. So let's try that now. I like to make things hard on myself. If I just use the dang tape, I think I'd be in a lot better place. I feel like that looks pretty good. I feel like I'm pretty good there. Now let's just check the spacing. I want to say maybe I need to come over just a little bit. So let's do that. I'm really getting very picky with my spacing all of a sudden. Okay, I just scooched it over just a little bit more. I feel like we're still good. Okay, perfect. So I'm checking for bubbles again. And now we're gonna finish off with our white. And we will be good to go. Okay. You might be able to see a little bit of shimmer in here because I actually did this project previously with our red shimmer paste. Holy cow, it's gorgeous. So that's why I can see still a little bit of shimmer, but you see that I'm not having any problems getting the chalk paste through my silkscreen area. Because you guys know what glitter is like. It gets everywhere and it never comes out of anything. So if you see it on your transfer, if you've used it on your transfer, I guarantee you're still going to be fine. It's still going to be okay. You're still going to be able to use your transfer. Perfect. I think the spacing, I feel like, was pretty good. It's a little squishier with the farm, but that's not me. That was the transfer. So, I really like it, though. I love the little pop of eucalyptus. Let me grab this other transfer, put that in my water pan as well. Now, should we put the little bird somewhere? That's what I'm wondering. If we should put the little bird right on the end of the E. How adorable is this? So what do we think? Should we do a little bird here right on the end? Right on the E, so he's like kind of sitting right on the E. So if I lean him a little bit. I don't know if I should do him on there. No, I think I need to do him on the E. Or should I leave it off? Or I could put him down here. Let's see. I'm just going to chalk it real quick and see, and if I don't like it, I'm just going to wash it off. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if I like it. I have to look at it for a little bit. So let's put the transfer in the water. And I'm going to put my squeegee in the water as well. I'm going to close this up real quick because what I think I have, and I'm going to look for it real quick. Because I'm kind of obsessed with the, I'm looking at it on the screen and I don't think I like the bird there. So I can wash that off. But in the meanwhile, I want to say, let me see if I have it handy right here, because I think that this is going to jazz up the board. If I can find it real quick, because I don't want to keep everybody on the line for too long. I want to say I have some ribbon, which, like I said, I'm obsessed with the buffalo plaid. I think everybody's obsessed with buffalo plaid right now. And I thought I had some in my ribbon thing here. Trying to find it. If not, it's not a big deal. I might have to come on. I thought I had it. Shoot. Let me check. Checking one other spot. I know I have. I don't know what the heck I did with it. Shoot, sorry guys. I thought I had my buffalo check ribbon. It's kind of, this isn't the ribbon that I was wanting to use. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. I do have a cute little bow, but no, I don't like that either. Alright, so we have to figure out something else. Maybe it will be flowers on the bottom. I do have some wood flowers. It definitely needs something. I have to think on it. Because sometimes it takes me a little while to come up with the different embellishments that I want to put on here. So that could work. That's kind of more minty. But something like that. Once I remove the bird. I don't know. We're going to think about that for a little bit. And come up with something. But let me wash this bird off real quick. Because I'm not real happy with it over there. Particularly. So I'm just going to grab a paper towel. And I'm going to wet it. Just get that wet just a little bit. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to wash off this bird that we put here. Because I don't know. It's just not speaking to me at all where I had it. Maybe it'll look better if I put them on top of the E. But again, I got to think about that for a little while. I am perfectly happy with simplicity, and I do like the simplicity of the Farmhouse. I could maybe put something down here. Like I said, sometimes it takes me a while. Sometimes I gotta look at things for a little while and figure out what I want to do. But I'm thrilled with how that came out. Just the basic white and eucalyptus. It's my favorite. I love it. So let's bring in our water pan real quick, because I always like to show from beginning to end. So we're going to bring in that pan that I keep talking about where we have our transfers. I'm just going to slide it over here actually. Because this is the important part too. Whenever you're working with transfers, you want to make sure that you clean them, because you want to get the most use out of each transfer, right? So I like to take care of them by cleaning them, having that water pan right next to me as I'm working, so that, like I said, the water actually starts to get all the chalk paste out of the transfers. And you'll see what I mean in 1 second. I'm just going to get all the tools out of the way first. And what I'm using is a board eraser. And I like to keep that in my pan. That helps make quick work of cleaning everything. So here's the bird that I put in the water. So you see that the water started already getting some of the chalk paste off of the front. If we look at the farm, well, the farm's not such a great example, because that one I had out for a little bit longer because I was doing both sides. But you kind of get the idea. See how the water's starting to get some of the stuff off there? Now I'm going to help it along with the board eraser. And I'm going to use the board eraser to clean both the front and the back of the transfer. And then I'm going to put the transfer onto my towel with the sticky side up. Okay, it's pretty easy. Not too difficult, but whoever said that cleaning was the fun part of projects, but it's got to be done. So I would like to take the time to show you the project from beginning to end, so you can see just how easy it is. And it really isn't that time consuming at all. And it's just stunning artwork when you're done. Okay, so we've got all our pieces. Just want to grab my multi-tool real quick. And then we will have everything out of here. So then we've got one more final step that we're going to do to clean our transfers. Okay, that's clean. Let's get this out of the way. And I always keep paper towels right by me because we do go through the paper towels. So what I like to do is get all the excess water from the back of the transfer, because the final step is going to be with a Clorox wipe. And I just like to get the excess water off of everything first. And sometimes if you do have any issues with any of your tools staining from the pigments in our chalk paste, you can use the disinfectant wipe to also clean those as well. And I've noticed it does a real good job. You can see like I've got some old chalk paste on here. So it does do a pretty decent job of getting any of the old pigments off of your squeegees and your tools as well. Okay, so let's keep them there for a second. So I'm going to grab a disinfectant wipe. And we're going to flip the transfer over to the chalk side. So any remnants of chalk that I may still have on there, that I may have missed from my board eraser, I can now get off with my disinfectant wipe. It also helps to remove some of that fuzz. It's not going to get all of it, but it will help to get some of it off of the back of your transfer. And then it's pretty cool that when the transfer's in water, it's obviously not sticky anymore, but once we get it cleaned, and we got all the chalk paste out of the silkscreen area, and we use the disinfectant wipe and the paper towel, you're going to see that it's starting to bring the stickiness back. Hopefully by the time I am done cleaning here, and we go back to the wreath, which is, or the bird, which is the one that I did first, you'll see that they're sticky again. Just want to make sure I got that all clean. Okay, and we leave it on the sticky side so that it can dry. Now I'm just going to see if this disinfectant wipe is going to help to get some of that off of there. It usually does a pretty good job. Yep, I feel like it did. Got any of that old chalk paste that I may have had on there. So that's pretty cool. I actually had some green on there, and it seemed to take that off pretty well. So good to know. And then in our little logo here, it's good to help get it out, get any chalk paste. Because you have to be careful. You don't want to have any old chalk paste on your tools. And then you might contaminate your paste, right? If you have like little bits of old paste on there. And then you go to put it in a new paste, it might get some of that different color in there. So there we have it. Everything is clean. Now I'm going to just dry my fingers off with the paper towel. And I'm going to show you that, now that my hands are dry, they are sticky again. So it only took a few minutes. Now I got to get them back off my hand. They're really sticky. So, ooh, just be careful. That probably was not the smartest thing to do because I don't want to stretch out my transfer. But I was just trying to prove a point of how sticky they get again once you clean them all off. So let's grab our backer sheets, which we had labeled. I had Farmhouse on this one. So I like to just try to match them up as best I can. They're not going to get back on there 100% perfectly like you just got them out of the packaging from the factory. But we do the best we can to get them back on there. And then that way we could, that's not the right side. I can tell by the way that the transfer, oh no, it was. I thought maybe I had it because there's a little bevel in here and I try to match that up with how I cut it. I am not the world's best cutter. Even though the Chalk Couture gives us the nice handy cut lines on our transfers, I still seem to be very crooked when I cut my transfers for some odd reason. I was never good at that. So then this was just the number 3 I wrote on here because this was the number 3 part of the wreath. Because there are other pieces to the wreath that I didn't show you guys that you could embellish with either the little berries or with the little these little guys. I don't know what they look like, little sticks. I don't know what they're called. I'm terrible with that. I love the way flowers and plants and things like that look, but if you asked me what the names of them were, I would not be able to tell you to save my life. But I just like the way they look. Okay, so now we have everything back on its proper carrier sheet. We can return it to its packaging, which all of our transfers come in these little plastic, that was easy for me to say, plastic packaging. And you'll see on the back of all of our transfers are all of the instructions. It's basically everything that I just did in my live, how to prepare them, how to peel them, how to apply them, how to heat set your ink or your paste, because yes, we do have ink as well, so you could make things permanent. You could make yourself a cute little farmhouse shirt with our ink, and our inks look like this. They have the white lids where our pastes have the black lids. So the inks are permanent, so you could make shirts or dishes or mugs or anything that you can heat set, you can then use with the ink. So you could turn around and have your cute little farmhouse sign like that, and then you can make a cute little t-shirt out of the transfer as well. So it's interchangeable. You can go from ink to paste to ink, back and forth. We guarantee between 8 and 12 uses out of each of our transfers, but like I said, if you guys are good with taking care of them, I can pretty much guarantee you that you're going to get more uses out of that. The only way that you really won't is if you use them on untreated wood. But most people nowadays, if they're going to be using this to maybe make a farmhouse wood sign, you would wax your wood first, and that will just act as a nice barrier between your wood surface and your transfer, so that you're not picking up any splinters and getting them into your silkscreen area. So that's just a nice little preventative to do that. And what we use on our wood surfaces, or what I use, I should say, not we, I just grabbed this Minwax. So this works perfectly on any wood surfaces, just because the transfers and the paste look so good on wood surfaces. But just go ahead and grab some of this Minwax, or any kind of Minwax, doesn't really matter. And that's just a nice barrier when you're using our transfers, like I said, on your wood surfaces. So I think I have covered everything so far for this project. You guys got to see it from beginning to end, and a little bit of change up in design midway through to see how you can remove it, how easily it is to change out your design with just a little bit of water. And that's the great thing about our paste, is that it is removable and you can change out your design. This is actually probably the third design I've done on my Sylvie board already, so I like to change it, keep it fresh. And then I only have to have one chalkboard hanging on my wall and know that I can just keep changing out the design for every season whenever the mood strikes me to change it out. So that's pretty cool. I love that about Chalk Couture. So I think I am going to wrap it up now. I think I took long enough of your time tonight. I hope that you guys have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. And I will talk to you soon. Be safe out there. Bye.